Good afternoon, beautiful Bravehearts. I'm Dr. Daryl Wolf, and I'm still in LA, Los Angeles, California. Okay. If you've been following me, you already know, but if you don't, then just know this that, in the last 6 months, I've done a lot of flying, and I don't know, it's getting more complicated to fly. And I think they want us to believe that it's going to be really difficult. And believe it or not, it's all a big setup. Everything's a setup. Today, and I'm okay with it. You got to understand, I am just okay with this whole three-ring circus that's going on. And it's going to get even more crazier. And the people that have belief systems that do not feed them properly, okay, are going to be torn apart over this emotionally and physically. Understand, today, I call it don't go to the light. Don't go to the light, okay? You have to understand something. You have to become the light. You have to become the light. Don't go to the light. Everybody's that whole go to the light thing. I got to tell you something. Most of the stuff that we're taught, it seems to have this thing that it seems so positive, but we're always getting sucker punched. Do you ever notice that? Go to the light. I'm not going to the light. I'm going to go look under the rock. I'm going to go look in the closet. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to understand there's no authority over me. Okay. I am not going to believe anybody or anyone that is any part of any system out here. Let me just say this. Do you know what they're going to do? They're going to shine the light wherever they want you to go. The biggest scam in history, in this go around in history since the Great Depression. Okay, this will be the bigger scam. This will be a bigger scam than the Great Depression. Just know it's all a scam. Everything's made up. Whether you want to believe it or not, doesn't really matter. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe in anything I say, but guess what? The reality is it's all just made up. It's the grand illusion. And right now, the biggest scam in history is going down. And they've got the light shining where they want you to watch and listen, okay? All right, and follow along with their game plan. Understand something. History, I'm not following his story ever. I'm following my story, okay? There is nobody's coming to save Daryl, okay? At every given moment, I am out there saving myself. And how do I do it? Connecting to my breath, having a slight smile, and 1 second. We just got to be patient. And that's what you got to learn. There's always going to be rumblings. There's always going to be noise. There's always going to be bombs going off. There's always going to be somebody crying, justifying, lying. And you know what? Just understand it's just a game. It's just a game. Don't take it personal. Right now, they're shining the light where they want you to look. They don't want you to look where they don't want you to look. I was just on the phone with a beautiful woman, and she was saying, you know what, Dr. Wolf, soon as I start buying something from the health food store, okay, within months or within a year, okay, I go and I take a look and the ingredients change. And I said, listen, I've said this all the time. When it comes to everything good, okay, and as soon as everybody starts talking about it, it's going to go into where they want you not to look. Otherwise, they're going to put ingredients in your products. So that which used to be totally organic and only had 3 ingredients in it now has 6 ingredients in it. And guess what? And those other 3 ingredients are poisonous to the human body, and they can get away with it because the part I really love is, guess what? We want justice. We want justice. Okay. And the reality is this. If I were to put any cancer-causing chemicals, okay, or toxins in my product, I'd go to jail. But a food corporation can do it because you don't understand. Those that were picked to actually run the world, okay, they make the rules. And understand this, they will never, ever, I just love people when they go, okay, they're going to get theirs. They're going to get theirs. They're going to go to court. We're going to see them go to court. They're going to go to jail. They don't go. Oh, they're going to get theirs when they go to heaven. Oh, really? Or go to hell. I mean, everybody, can we just stop it? Can you mind your own business? Can you just mind your own business? Because they want you to go to the light, because they shine the light over there, because they want you to buy into their story, right? Everybody thinks there's a big savior coming just to what? And 3 months here from now. He's just going to save us all. And yeah, you're going to get one big surprise here, but whatever. And, and then people are going to go, yeah, but he's just doing his best. He's just doing his best. And you know what? Understand, I already said it yesterday when I did my one a day yesterday. I told you that it's all just one big show, and most people are falling for it. There's our next savior. Anyways, just know this. Who's writing your story? Is it your parents? Is it your teachers? Is it the political people? Is it the medical people? Who's writing your story? Is it the TV? Is it the radio? Who writes your story? I'm telling you right now, if you don't do your due diligence and mind your own business and write your own story, okay, you're going down burning. You're going to go down burning. And don't believe me, it's not going to take long for this to happen. And understand something. I used to get so upset and frustrated when I was younger. I mean, but you have to understand that was over a quarter of a century ago. I mind my own business now. And I understand that this is planet Earth, where people actually believe that they have to kill people for freedom. People actually have to believe that to make money, they have to compete, okay? They have to get ahead. That means they have to take someone's head. They have to do whatever it takes to make a living. I got to make a living. I got to pay my bills. Well, if you come from that kind of attitude, then guess what? You'll always be searching for the light. Well, I am the light. I am the light of my life. Okay. And the cure is an inside job, and all the answers, you already have them once you have courage and faith in what you are and what created you. Now, understand this. 99% of the population don't write their own story. 99% of the population, they do everything, okay, to appease and to please everybody else. So most people are everyone else doing everything else so that they get approval. And understand something. The majority of the population is never going to finish their mission down here. And it is called unconditional love. It is realizing that your spirit is 99.9999999% of everything that you are. And this is just a meat suit. This is just a rental. I will not disrespect it, but this is not who I am. This is who I am for just a very small glimpse in universal time. And the reality is this. I rewrite my story every day. Okay. So I am the writer of my story. I don't write one story and then I'm going to live by that story, because I have this thing that I'm going to change 1% every day. I'm going to bring up my frequency, my vibration every day. And that's what the change is. If you're not going to change your personality and you're not going to bring up your vibration, your frequency, and if you're not going to shine the light within inside yourself, 1% brighter every day, because you are unlimited with that. And maybe you don't even understand what I'm saying. And most people don't understand what I'm saying. Most people think I'm a flake or I'm crazy. Most people believe in in the physical and what they see. They don't understand that the invisible holds the truth and the invisible holds all the power. So I am the writer of my story, and I will do a rewrite, every morning and every night. And that means observing yourself, not judging. I actually saw this post today, and don't get me wrong, and everybody can believe in what they believe, but you might see it. It's on Facebook, and it said, do Christians have the right to judge? And then this guy goes and he gets all types of things that Jesus says we must judge. We must judge the people in our church. We must judge this. We must judge that. I mean, what kind of crazy person is this? Okay, judge nobody. Don't even judge yourself. Observe yourself and ask yourself where you can become the light for yourself. Ask yourself where you can change your personality to learn to have more unconditional love for yourself and your brothers and sisters, so you don't go around hating them. Anybody that judges hates. Okay, so remember something. If you're a judge, somebody's got to be guilty. If somebody's got to be guilty, somebody's got to go to jail. Did you get that? So I really don't care what this person is saying, because it's totally ridiculous. My father was a born-again Christian pastor, and I'll tell you something right now. I am never going to judge another human being. I will observe them and ask if I want to take on their vibration or their frequency, or do I want to stay away from their vibration and frequency and not allow it into my field? Because I am electromagnetic light energy being, and most people don't even realize it. I mean, there's people walking around here right now, and they just think that they're having this physical experience. Well, they're not. They're a spirit being having a physical experience. And the reality is we came down to a planet that if we don't write our own story, if we are not the directors of this story, this movie, if we are not the producers of this, and if we're not trying to make, how can I say this, a Braveheart Heroes story or movie, then we're going to be in big trouble. Because the reality is we were meant to come down to a planet that's a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure where people lie, cry, and justify, where people poison us, and then where we start poisoning ourselves, and then we start poisoning each other, and I will have no part of that. And I know that the only way that you don't get recycled on this planet for eternity is if you bring your vibration high enough that you can actually move on with this, because I believe that the whole thing is just one big game. Just like when a child plays on a PlayStation, okay? How many times do they actually, oh my God, I died again? So they just start all over. And then and until they can beat that level, they're just going to have to be recycled and keep starting from the beginning. So I don't know what you believe in, and please don't get upset with me just because my beliefs are different, because you can believe in whatever you want. I'll never be upset with you. You know, there's like 40,000 different prominent religions, okay? There's over 100,000 different religions on this planet and belief systems. And guess what? I honor and respect every one of them, long as they're not dishonoring and disrespecting me. And the reality is do whatever you want, create any story you want, because guess what? You are eternal. And I truly believe that, you know what? You could be religious or be in this faith, this time, that faith, this faith. But if it's not high vibrational, if it's not going to bring unconditional love and care for yourself and the rest of the planet and make you into a high vibrational being, then I believe that no matter what the religion is or how old it is, how many centuries it's been dragged, okay, if it judges, okay, anybody else, and I would not want anything to do with it. But you go ahead and believe that your religion is the one that is going to be allowed into heaven. And I don't believe there is a heaven. I don't believe there is a hell. I believe that we create that heaven and hell here, and we can do that right here, because I know that the majority of the population is living in hell right now. And, you know, why do you think they say, listen, honey, why don't we plan to have fun this Friday? Well, why don't we have fun right now? Because we're programmed not to have fun. We're programmed that if we suffer today, we'll have a better tomorrow. If we suffer for our family that's suffering, then we show that we love them. Yeah. Understand something right now. I'm not going to the light. I'm going to go into the darkness, I'm going to go into myself. And when I go in there, it's not going to be dark. You're going to find out that if you actually went inside yourself and you actually spent time and energy with yourself, you know what you would find out? That you are beautiful, that you were created by God Almighty, and that you are beautiful. And the only thing that is actually bad about you is the belief systems that they force-fed us since we entered the womb, and they want to do it all the way to the tomb. And so, you know, any story that you want to go with, you go ahead and go with it, because guess what? You are eternal. So you just go with whatever story makes you happy. And guess what? There's a lot of religious people that actually tell me to go to hell. There's a lot of, or that I'm going to go to hell, or they're going to say that I'm damned or I'm doomed. And the reality is this, really, where do they even come from? Or where do these people even come from? The reality is I do no harm. I tell people that, you know, try out unconditional love and care for yourself and everyone else. I mean, you know, I was raised, okay, and I love the story of Jesus, and I love the message, the mission. It was unconditional love for me. Somebody else reads the Bible and says that teaches that Jesus taught us that we need to judge ourselves and judge everyone else. I don't know what he read or what he got out of it or she got out of it, but I'm not going to do it. And I'm also not going to go to the light. I'm going to become my own light. So I want you to think about this. Who's the writer? Who's the director? And who's the producer of your story? And understand something. If you have bumps every day and they're the same bumps, okay, and they're the same thoughts, you do know that people have the same 70,000 to 90,000 thoughts every day because they don't realize that they have to become the writer of the story. They have to become the director, the producer, and the leading star, which means that you're going to save yourself at every given moment from everybody else that's programmed to off themselves. Oh, really? You don't believe me that people are programmed to off themselves? Well, why don't you just come with me and we'll go traveling and see that, Lori and I, we could eat in this hotel. We could eat across the street. We could eat down the street. Or we're going to get into an Uber and we're going to go just to a place called Just Salads. And we're going to have the biggest, beautiful salad. Okay. And then we're going to go get some juices, put it in the fridge because I fly out tomorrow night for Australia. And then I'm doing a day with the doc on Saturday in Sydney from 10 until 3. And then I fly to Melbourne that night. And then I do a day with the doc 10 until 3 in Melbourne. And then I work on patients on Tuesday. And then Wednesday I fly to Brisbane. And then there I'm going to be working on patients. And then I think it's in Brisbane, I'm doing, I don't know, you have to go to BHN University or braveheartnation.com. You'll see my whole schedule. And then I go to Brisbane, then I go to Byron Bay, then I go to Coffs Harbour for lectures, and they're all free. And then I do, I teach the whole life health coach certification that everybody should take. Every mother, brother, sister, doctor, nurse, chiropractor, everybody should do it because you can't give what you don't have. And there is no course like mine. I've been teaching it since I was 28 years old. Okay. And I'll be 67 years old in 3 weeks. So the reality is, even if I'm a little slow, I must have got it right by now. And I'll give you a 3-day money back guarantee in my whole life coach course that we will find the authentic you by the 3rd day. Not you following me, not you pretending to be me or anybody else, but the authentic you, where you will let yourself off the hook for everything. Oh my God, now you're really going to go to hell, Daryl. No, you will let yourself off the hook for everything that everybody said you did wrong and everything you're going to think you're going to do wrong. You're not going to buy into their BS anymore, bad science and bad belief systems. You're not going to go for this religious stuff that makes everybody guilty, everybody into a sinner. Yes. How fast does a sinner heal? How fast do guilty people heal? You might want to ask yourself that and ask yourself why it's promoted so much. Because guilty people don't eat right, think right, drink right, don't live right. And people that are sinners, you think that brings their vibration up or brings their vibration down? And we know that cancer gets turned on and turned off by a frequency. Okay. And right now I'm probably turning off a lot of people here, but that's none of my business. The only problem is that my beliefs don't match yours. Your beliefs don't match mine. And I don't care if your beliefs are different. I love you anyway, because the reality is see, now you're going to go, well, that's such, where is he coming from? Well, because guess what? I love me. Why would I hurt me by judging your belief systems? You can do whatever you want, but you're not going to walk into my field with the low vibrational negative beliefs that people should go to war, or people should die, or people deserve what they get. People don't deserve what they get down here. The problem is that they get nothing. Okay. We would get nothing down here. We have to wake up to the fact, and we need to come together as human beings, because there's an entity on this planet that is controlling all of this. Understand something, everybody. Okay. Everything the way it is. Everything is the way it is. Okay. Because it's to feed off our energy. They live off our energy. They get off on our suffering. I mean, everybody thinks that the medical system does the best they can. They absolutely have no answers. You go to a doctor and he says, oh, we can't do anything for you. Why don't you go home and get your affairs in order? And I'm going to tell you that I will give you a money back guarantee that that's not true. I will tell you that the aging is not in the DNA. I will tell you there are no genetic diseases, and all of this is scientifically proven. So they can't prove it, because They did a thing called the Genome Project and found out that there are no genetic diseases, especially in the cancers. Oh, there's 110 cancers. No, there's not. There's just inflammation. Inflammation is the only disease going on, and that's because you've got infection and you were infected mentally before you ever were, and emotionally before you were ever infected physically. Okay. All right. All right. From a pimple to a tumor, it all started off as a rumor. And that's because you believed his story and you didn't want to rewrite your own story, because guess what? Whether you believe it or not, there's a lot of you that you'll say you're not religious, and I'll ask you why you have so much guilt. There's a lot of you that would never let yourself off the hook for all the rules that these fools made up, all these religions made up, and all the government made up, and the medical system makes up, and all these systems make up all these rules. And for God's sakes, you would never, ever just let yourself off the hook and get rid of these chokeholds, because what if they're right? And if I do let myself off the hook and I love myself and I love my life and I don't suffer anymore for the things that they said that I did wrong, what if I do go to hell for eternity? No, you're already in hell for eternity for believing their BS. So no, I'm not going to go to the light, and I'm not going to go to church. Okay. I'm going to go to nature. Okay. I'm going to go inside my heart, find my God spot. And no matter where I am, I will know that the creator of everything in the universe has never judged me, but said, you will be going down and your spirit will be infused into this meat suit called the physical body. And then you will be lied to from the moment you get here, and your parents will be adulterated. And so from 0 to 7, we will set you up with dysfunctional belief systems that you will hurt yourself and hurt the ones you love. And let's see if you can wake up to what's going on in planet Earth and mind your own business and use your God-given power called your spirit and start feeding your spirit. Remember something, belief systems are alive. And I am not taking anybody's belief system unless it vibrates as high as me or higher. I am having nothing to do with it. You know, I've got relatives, I got friends, I got neighbors. And guess what? I have no problem. We're going to be going to a big gathering with relatives, and I will mind my own business. I will keep a slight smile on my face. And I will not have an opinion, because guess what? They don't want to hear it. You get that? People don't want to hear your opinion. People are actually married to their beliefs, and it's very hard for them to get rid of their beliefs. They don't want to hear your opinion. And that's why don't go to the light, become the light. If you want to change your life and you want to change and make the lives of those around you better, don't go to the light, become the light. And this means that why don't you start eating, thinking, drinking, and being a high vibrational person that actually lives their passion and their purpose and tells their truth to themselves first and foremost, observing yourself more than you observe anything else, because that's where the game starts. Don't get involved out here. Don't get involved out here. They want you involved out here. Get involved in here, in your heart, and find your God spot. Mind your own business. Now, people that you have actually pretended to be a rug to, come use me, come abuse me because I don't really love myself, but I need to get love from somewhere. We can't live without love. We're emotional beings. So if you haven't learned how to love yourself, then God knows the things that you would drink, eat, and say and do, okay? Because you need someone to love you. I don't need anyone to love me. I'm going to love them anyway. My partner loves me. My partner loves me not because I need her to, because I do no harm and that I love her and I want her to find her passion and her purpose. I don't want to control her. She's not my wife. Okay. She's my spirit partner. She's my spirit partner. And I will honor, love, and respect her as I love, honor, and respect myself. And most people don't love and honor and respect themselves, so they can't love and honor, respect their partners or their children or anybody else. Oh, they can do it off and on. Okay. And when do they do it? They do it when they need love. Whenever they need something from someone else, that's when they bring the love on. Okay. And if the other person doesn't keep loving them with the same pattern and filling up their heart like some kind of gas tank, then guess what? Then we start playing love ransom against each other. The whole thing is screwed up. To death do us part. Forget that. I'm not buying into that for rich or poor. No, I'm going to be rich on all levels. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. I'm not waiting for a savior. I know what I need to do. And that is this. If we would stop reacting, we'd stop attacking. And if we strategized even half as much as they strategize against us, okay, and we were to come together as brothers and sisters, which we are, we were all created by the same creator down here. But meanwhile, like I told you, there's 40,000 different prominent religions and then about 100,000 other ones. And oh my God, please help us all. So the real story is this: unconditional love. Try it out. Just try it out for an hour, then try it out for a few hours, then try it out for a day. See if you can unconditionally love yourself without judging yourself, without putting yourself down, without judging another human being, just for an hour. Okay, and I'm talking about the government. I'm talking about the medical system. Why do you talk bad about them? They're never going to go away. They're never going to change. They're not broken, but you got to get all involved. And I don't know why, but guess what? You got distracted. It should have been about you. Okay. Don't go to the light. The light's inside. All right. And for those of you who own pets, don't forget, don't vet your pet. Okay. All right. Sale is on right now. And you might be thinking, why does he say that? I'm not trying to put anybody down, but veterinarians are like doctors. They deal in drugs, they deal in surgery, they deal in chemo, they deal in radiation. And guess what? They also, most of them, like 99% of them, sell cancer-causing science diet food. Yes or no? Your pet's doing so good, or your pet's eyes bright? Is its skin looking great? Does its hair shine? Its fur? Does its fur shine? Is it bubbly? Does it have health, or is it growing tumors? Does it have bladder infections, bowel problems? Is it depressed? Okay, does it have arthritis? I mean, come on. Let me just say this. I'll never be sick. Why? Because I don't have sick beliefs. Why? Because I don't have the 99.9% of the beliefs that the majority of the population have. I'm not looking for a hero. I'm not looking for a savior. And I know that the whole world is going to be a 3-ring circus for the next 3 years. That's why I'm going to Australia. I'm doing this teaching. And I know I can't get back for 3 more years. I just know it. You watch what's going to happen. Okay. Already they're making the flights more difficult. They started that with COVID, and they're making everything more difficult because they want to prove that they're right, that, we have a carbon problem, right? That there's not enough water. There's not enough air. Oh God, there's not enough food. 80 billion people could live on this planet easily. And the reality is they even complain when it comes to recycling. Meanwhile, it was the Rockefellers that took all the glass off the shelves and put everything into plastic so they could poison us. And then they tell us that we have to go grocery shopping and bring our own bags because we don't want to give plastic bags out because it's polluting the earth and everything's in plastic. Yeah. And even Coca-Cola right now has nanobots. You don't believe me? I'll do a show on it. So does Pepsi. Okay, they have little nanobots, same nanos that with the B. Okay, all right. So just know this: that any foods that are highly produced, okay, highly processed, okay, you're poisoning yourself, and you don't even know the other stuff that they don't have to say. Just like maltodextrin, right? Okay, all right. It's worse than sugar. So when they say it's sugar-free, just know that it's in there, and they can legally put it there. I already told you, gee whiz, if I just poisoned something just a little bit, I would never do that. I would go to jail. Listen, there is no justice except unconditional love for yourself and others. Just get that. Mind your own business. And if something frustrates you, okay, and it's none of your business, then guess what? You're just feeding a belief system. Okay, because you actually don't love yourself. Please think about it. Okay. Check out my pdgfree.com guide and go take a look at the 12 loving steps, the mirror work, the couples connection, the love band work. I mean, these are all really simple things. Why don't you just practice loving yourself and find out if you go to hell for it? Find out if you start feeling better. Find out if you start getting healthier, if you have more energy, and if your relationships with yourself and everyone else gets better. I think unconditional love is the only way that we're going to change the planet. And I'm going to just keep on rattling on. So if this irritates you, then it may continue, because it is about unconditional love and nothing else. Do no harm to yourself or anyone else. See if you can do that for just one day. God bless everyone. Have a beautiful day.